makes one bit of difference. The argument's still the same. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, but if the health department wins that allegation, wins that thing, and excuse me if I don't speak properly in this arena, because it's not my arena. If they win, then this law has already been passed, this ordinance has already been passed, that private restaurant owners can go.
The law, I'm not the Supreme Court, thank you, for small papers. But pretty much it renders the law.
I'm sorry, but in all fairness, the 10 minutes is up. So,
Please ask me to address it.
yes, county attorney, would you go ahead and finish your answer?
It's two different questions. You ought to see them very closely related. But the issue for the Supreme Court, as far as we have always been concerned, has never been about smoking. It has been about who has the right to make a law, a legislative body or an administrative agency. We just filed our brief last Friday. In that lawsuit, I have a copy of it. If anybody wants a copy of it, they're welcome to have it. But there are two very different issues. You came here concerned about secondhand smoking, how it affects you, your family, and your community. The lawsuit is over who has the right to make laws. Okay?
Ms. Biddle, let me ask you, this ordinance that's before us today, even though you think we should delete sections 2 and 4, even if sections 2 and 4 are in there, and whatever happens with the lawsuit with the health department, that's up to a judicial court, not us. That's another story. Would you be satisfied with the passing of this ordinance here?
Not with section 2 and 4.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Any other questions for Ms. Bill at this point? Madam, you can ask any questions you want to have. Let's have, thank you, Ms. Bill, let's have,
Do what you want.
who would like to speak next? Ellen or Brittany or, it doesn't matter to me. Say it again here.
This on the coffee garden.
Yes, this is still on the smoke. Oh, wait.
Go ahead, go ahead.
He doesn't mind now, thank you. This is Ellen Kershaw. Ellen will tell you who she's with and her statements. Thank you, Ellen, for being here today. And let's do 10 minutes. I want to make it fair to everybody, so even, all folks in here.
Well, honorable fiscal court members and judges, and judges, thank you so much for taking up this important issue and for allowing me to testimony this morning. I am Ellen Kershaw, advocacy director with the American Heart Association in Hawaii, and so I'm very concerned about this issue. The American Lung Association supports a comprehensive smoke-free policy in Bullock County and statewide, actually, in the whole state. We note that the Bullock County Fiscal Court, in proposing this ordinance, recognizes the importance of providing smoke-free workplaces, and we commend this action. So we thank you for that stance. It is good that under this ordinance, county employees and people doing business in county buildings, workplaces, and facilities will be protected from the dangers of secondhand smoke. We support, therefore, ordinance number 13-2, but only with a clarifying amendment, which we would suggest would be to delete sections 2 and 4 of the proposed ordinance. These sections create unnecessary confusion. Since this ordinance is being enacted according to the state law that allows counties to regulate smoking in county buildings, workplaces, and facilities, why even mention private venues? These sections send the wrong message also, which is that it's okay to smoke everywhere else besides county buildings. Everybody should have the right to breathe clean air, no matter where they work or do business. Thank you for your consideration of these concerns. This is an important opportunity for the Bullock County Fiscal Court to serve as a positive example in enacting a model ordinance for smoke-free. So it should, you all can lead the way to cleaner air in all indoor public buildings. It's a matter of protecting the public health, eliminating exposure to secondhand smoke, as Ms. Biddle so persuasively argued, will help prevent disease in children and adults and prevent premature death due to causes including, causes including COPD, other lung diseases, cardiovascular disease, heart attacks, stroke, lung cancer, and many other kinds of cancer. So it's a serious item, and this could be a big step forward to making Bullitt County a healthier place to live, work, and do business. We urge you to enact ordinance 13-32, but with the amendment to delete sections 2 and 4.
Thank you, Ellen. Any questions for Ellen? Thank you. Brittany, do you want to speak? Come on up. Deputy Judge Kendall, please. Thank you. Good morning, Brittany.
Good morning. A lot of what I was going to say has already been said, and is said so eloquently, and it's just basically regarding sections 2 and 4 of the ordinance. We do want to say thank you for taking this step to protect the health of workers in government buildings, and county owned buildings. Smoking policies in government buildings only protect government employees or the employees there, such as yourselves and other workers in public buildings, but only comprehensive smoke-free policy of all public indoor buildings protects the public, those who work there, and others, visitors from the harmful effects of secondhand smoke, such as the ones that Ms. Biddle and Melinda stated. And so I don't want to reiterate what was already said. I think they've already said, that the ordinance as is has the opportunity to put in jeopardy the smoke-free workplaces that may or may not happen from the Supreme Court decision. And just want to say that all people, government workers, non-government workers, in all public places deserve the right to breathe clean air, and we're just thank you for your time and your consideration.
Thank you, Brittany. Any questions for Brittany? Carol Riker.
Judge, I work for UK, so I would not be able to speak before the vote unless you all have questions for me.
Oh, we thank you for being here, Carol.
And I'd like to speak in the public comment period, please.
This is the public comment period.
After you vote.
After we vote.
Is there not one at the end of the meeting? Is there not a public?
We allow, yes, I allow public
Thank you.
comments at the end, yes. Thank you. Now, is there anyone else here that would like to speak on behalf of the ordinance 13-32? Yes, there is. I'm sorry, what?
She wants to know if you want to go first.
Yeah, I think he's been waiting to go.
No, I know, but I mean on behalf of.
You go ahead, you're for it.
Oh, you're a kid, oh, okay.
I am against it.
It's all right, you all get along. I wish that was the case.
10 minutes of
I don't think it's first we go, and I'm not going to reiterate anything. The only thing that I want to say is I understand the issue as far as the legislative body and who's trying to allow this all-inclusive comprehensive smoke-free Bullitt County to come about. I don't care personally who does it. I know there are people that do care, and that's fine. My concern is for the safety of the community, whoever enacts it. But I understand that the right legislative body needs to do that. I do understand that. So with that being said, I think it was thought that fiscal court was never asked on record for a smoke-free county. But on November the 26th, Dorothy Biddle was on record asking. So just in case, I want to ask again, is it possible to expand this proposed ordinance to a comprehensive smoke-free indoor policy for Bullitt County? Is it possible? Are we able to allow that with the current lawsuit?
I'll turn it over to the county attorney.
I'll be happy, that's actually a very good question. This court can modify ordinance any way they want. So so if they want to choose to expand that, they can. I would like to talk just for a second about the repealer. I think everybody's kind of getting cut up on language. In the United States, no law can be passed that's what's called ex post facto, which means that looks backwards. You can't be held accountable if you did something 2 weeks ago that you didn't, there was no law on just because we passed it today, and then you're responsible for violating the law. We don't look backwards. But whatever laws that go in effect, if they conflict with anything that's out there, that is the law from this point forward, okay? With this court being the highest fiscal legislative body in the county, whatever they pass, if they pass anything, whatever version they choose to have will become the law. And it will, as far as we are concerned, as far as the law is concerned, it will supersede anything from a legislative body that's lesser than them in the county. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
That's all really that repealer means. It is to clarify that, okay? If not, we would end up being sued if they pass something by somebody saying, well, their law doesn't apply to me, this person's rules apply. It's to prevent that conflict, okay?
But
Make
would,
sense?
yes, ma'am, but would there be a conflict being that, it would, what we are waiting on, and
Well,
I,
this is,
because it's all inclusive, it's not really gonna be a conflict then, because this ordinance states government buildings, but then if that were, you understand what I'm saying?
oh, it's a conflict because they chose to regulate, okay?
So the conflict is,
Whatever our position will be is if they pass something today, tomorrow, 10 years from now, whatever it is, that's going to be the law in Bullitt County, okay? We don't believe there is a legislative body in this county that's higher than these 5 elected people right here,
yes, ma'am.
okay? That's their job. Just like the General Assembly's job is for the state, okay? And they're accountable to the people. They can change that to whatever term. But as far as I can see it, the only way we get around not having a conflict in the lawsuit is if you ask these people to adopt every word that the health department passed and in their administrative regulation. And I'm not gonna speak for them, but I think they said on record that they're not going to do that, okay? So
So could they do it in their own words? I mean, could we just,
Yes,
I'm
but
sure it's
you
not
need
that simple, but.
well, no, their administrative regulation is multiple pages long, okay? There are sections of it I feel very confident are unenforceable by law, okay? But that's our opinion in the brief, just picking it apart.
Okay.
But, if these folks chose to regulate just the county buildings or everybody's private property and private business, that they can do that. But I sincerely doubt they're gonna match word for word. Does that make
Okay,
sense?
absolutely, absolutely. So I guess my question is, I mean, could fiscal court use their own words
So
for all?
Section 2 that deals with private property is there only because this court asked me very specifically to make sure that everybody knew it did not apply to private individuals or individuals' businesses. They have the full right to change their mind. That's what they're here for. They can decide they've heard enough from everybody and they want me to change that. I'm their scribe, okay? But that's why that's there, because that's what they asked for. Make sense?
Yes, absolutely. I guess I'm just wondering if they feel that way, or do you guys feel that way because of what's going on with the health department, or because you're not in support of an all-inclusive smoke-free Bullitt County?
Just wait till
Did I
the
say
vote
something
comes
wrong?
up.
No, you're not. Good question.
Because like I said, I don't care who I don't care who passes what with the smoke-free, if it's the board, I would rather, this is the legislative body, and that's the way that, needs to be in order for it to be properly enforced and all of those things. So fiscal court write an ordinance to support that, for an all-inclusive smoke-free Bullitt County.
I think there's one point that you folks are missing.
Okay.
When it comes to a government building, people have no choice but to go into that building. subpoenas to court, can go in there to get their driver's license, to go in there as witnesses, whatever. They don't have a choice. That's the only place they can do that. Therefore, that is the only reason that I'm considering passing a smoking ban for those buildings.
Okay.
I will not touch the private rights of private business owners who work hard, build their buildings, build their businesses, and have a right to allow people to smoke in their businesses if they so choose.
Right, even if that right affects their health in such a negative way?
If you want to go out and smoke cigarettes or smoke cigars or any of the other things that we can do to destroy our own bodies, you have the right to do that. I have no right to tell you not to do it or that you can't. I can tell you, Tracy, don't do it, it's going to kill you.
Right. But I
But
think
if
as
you
a
choose to
fiscal
do that,
court
that is
member,
your
that
right.
your responsibility is to,
It's not my responsibility to be the big brother of everybody out there.
right.
I can
So
tell
is
you,
that how the rest of the fiscal court feels?
I don't know how the rest of the fiscal court feels.
I think our reason that we never went along with the health department was because we had soldiers who's fighting overseas, killed every day for our rights. Well, once we pass this, and I've been thinking about it since I voted for her to go ahead and draw up the ordinance, I've been thinking it's almost all the same concept. These guys are over there, women are over there getting killed and doing everything they can for us to be able to keep our rights. And then we're over here every day, and we're wanting to do away with some people's rights. Never spoken a day in my life. But I don't say that people don't have the right to do that. I don't look out in my house because I've got a grandson that did have asthma. I've got a great-grandson that's had a little problem when he was born. So I don't allow anybody smoking in my house. They smoke out in the garage or at the carport.
For their health.
But really, I just feel so bad if I was to vote, and like I said, I voted for her to go ahead and do the ordinance. However, I feel bad to tell people, you know, it's not good for you to stand over there and smoke and put that outside the door. And I know people are getting secondhand smoke. However, I don't know how you would change that unless you move those areas someplace. And our soldiers are fighting for our rights. Okay, so sorry.
I got a comment. I work at Lowe's. Lowe's does not allow smoking on the property, not even in the parking lot. So I don't have a problem with the smoking or without the smoking, but they allow nothing. And it's pretty well, I'm sure there's a few that sneak and get by with it, but not very many.
Thank you, I appreciate your time, I really do.
You're welcome, Tracy. Good job.
Good time.
Okay, anybody else that's in support of this ordinance want to speak? Okay, let's give ample time, sufficient time, equal time, to the folks who want to speak in opposition. Am I correct in saying that opposition to ordinance number 13-32? And Harry or Michael, which one wants to go first? This is Mr. Harry Cooper.
My name's Harry Cooper. I spent 14 years on the Hillview City Council. I don't think I need that microphone. My voice can out here with me.
Harry, could you also look at us too? What, you don't want to stay behind the podium? So we can see and hear, and everybody can see and hear you. Thank you,
When
Harry.
Mayor Eagle took over up there in Hillview, he was going to make City Hall and all city buildings smoke-free. I got news for you. There's a law on the books down in Frankfurt that says you cannot ban cigarettes in City Hall and government buildings. If it was so, Jefferson County wouldn't have that smoking area up on the 7th floor of their building down there. If we gotta check your laws. Because unless they changed that law recently, it's still there. I don't think you people override state law.
I'll be glad to read it to you what the law is, for everybody to know, because I think very clearly we can.
But I've been 4 years in the United States Army, several foreign countries, and I think I have my right to smoke where and if I want. I don't smoke in my house. But if I want to go out there and smoke on the street, I can. I don't smoke in your government buildings. That's courtesy. 90% of my stuff is courtesy to the non-smokers. But this stuff, you people coming here saying, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. How many of your kids, grandkids, would not have had shoes to go to school in, or new clothes to go to school in, if it hadn't been for a tobacco crop that was sold? That tobacco goes a long way back, people. The first two things that exported this great country, really, they're the greatest country in the world. I've been in many countries. Tobacco and cotton sent to England. So tobacco goes a hell of a lot farther back than we go. We're just a few minor people in this circle of the tobacco. And all this stuff they say they put in the tobacco, they don't put that in the cigarette. It comes out of burning of the cigarette. All them chemicals is not there. There's honey, alum, liquid sugar, and some have wine in it. Yet I mixed too much of it down. I spent 21 years, 6 months, 7 hours, 10 minutes to fill more. I know what goes in it. It's what comes out of it that causes it. And I tell you what, I don't think you need to put us, unless you're going to put smoking areas in your buildings.
I would just like, because I agree with you in large part, except for that last section, okay, as far as everything you said legally. When they asked me to look into writing an ordinance, that's what we said we were going to look at the state law and make sure we were in compliance. And I just want to read one section because I've had a lot of calls on this one, okay? The Kentucky Revised Statute effective July 15th of 2010, under Chapter 61, 165, which is smoking policy for governmental office buildings or workplaces and post-secondary education institutions. Paragraph 3 applies to us. Except as otherwise specified for the capital and capital annex in KRS 61, 167, a policy for smoking in governmental office buildings or workplaces may be adopted by county, municipal, special district, urban, county, charter government, or consolidated local governments. Any policy adopted under this subsection may apply to any office buildings, workplaces, or facilities that are owned by, operated by, or under the jurisdiction of that government, including but not limited to jails and detention facilities. Any policy relating to smoking in governmental office buildings or workplaces of counties, municipalities, special districts, urban county governments, charter governments, or consolidated local governments shall be adopted in writing by the legislative body of the government and shall, and this is the key part. Paragraph A is what you're talking about. A, 1, require the government authority to provide accessible indoor smoking areas in any buildings where smoking is otherwise restricted, and 2, favor allowing smoking in open public areas where ventilation and air exchange are adequate and there are no restrictions otherwise placed on the area by the state fire marshal or similar authority. Or prohibit indoor smoking, period. If you allow any smoking by anybody, you have to have a designated smoking area. If you say there's absolutely no exception, you don't. Okay? And that's the difference. It's the or. And I think that's what was added in 2010. That's the reason you probably think that the has a smoking area. And I'm gonna be honest with you, until I read it, I didn't know there was no. That's why we read it, okay? But that has brought up another concern that this court must have faced today, and I have not discussed with them. Regardless of what happens here, if they choose not to pass something, that's fine. But now it's been brought to the attention that there are folks in this building over here that are smoking regularly, okay? But the public's not being allowed a designated smoking area. And I don't know how that goes for the rest of the county buildings, but that's something that's going to have to be discussed, because if you have smoking going on, you're going to have to designate a smoking area.
That's all. I'm not asking not to pass this ordinance. I'm asking for a smoking area in all of your government buildings. Jefferson County's got it on the 7th floor. That's very well. Yes,
That's because they chose to, or they could go with the or And if you allow any smoking,
They can show two, I'm asking to show two in my thing.
right, I get you. And we'll
I'm
have
asking just a smoking area in your business.
that, there's a
I'm
whole
not
lot.
asking for green apples off a red apple tree.
It deals with ventilation and air exchange units, so we would have to talk to Mike House if that becomes necessary to see if we've got to place some comment there.
Take your time, hopefully that's not bad.
Thank you, Terry. Hey, you got time left, anything else? You good? Let me ask the county attorney, I have a question. Okay, Mike Eddington,
Yes, ma'am.
welcome, good morning to you.
I will skip the formality, I appreciate it.
You have 10 minutes, so you have 10
I know,
minutes, so you're good on time.
I like to read here, section 2 of the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. It says, absolute and arbitrary power over the lives, liberty, and property of free men exists nowhere in the republic, not even the largest majority. And ones that spoke before us that's in favor of this no smoking ban. The reason I say this no smoking ban is it shouldn't be passed because, like I say, ones that's in favor of it are not satisfied with what y'all propose. They will never be satisfied until absolute and arbitrary power over the lives and liberty and property of the people exist in this country. In other words, I don't want government to protect me from myself. I want to be protected from the government. You can have the same argument if you go out and labor too hard. If you work too hard, you might have a heart attack. Does that mean that government should pass a law that you can't work? You know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've got some reasons why we should vote no on this amendment. The reasons I have, each one is just as important as the other. There's not least important, but not more important. One reason, section 99 of the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Kentucky lists the county judge, county court clerk, county attorney, sheriff, jailer, coroner, surveyor, constable, and justices of the peace, which are magistrates. The reason I bring this up, if you go back up to section 96, every bit of this is under the heading of administrative, executive branch of government. And what my argument would be that this court has no constitutional authority to legislate because the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Kentucky has authorized two entities to legislate. One is the General Assembly. The second one is the City Council. They can legislate and pass law. But no words that I found in the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Kentucky gives fiscal court the power of legislation. As a matter of fact, on the contrary, Section 26 of the Constitution says to guard against transgression of the high powers which we have delegated, we declare that everything in the Bill of Rights is accepted of the general powers of government and shall forever remain inviolate. It also says in all laws contrary to thereto, that's contrary to the Constitution. All laws contrary to this Constitution shall be void. So if the Constitution doesn't give the fiscal court the authority to legislate, then any law, any legislation in there should be void. In addition to that, Section 27, I already brought it out that this body is captured under in the Constitution under the executive branch. Section 27 of the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, the powers of the government of the Commonwealth of Kentucky shall be divided into three distinct departments, and each of them be confined to a separate body of magistracy, to wit, those which are legislative to one, those which are executive to another, and those which are judicial to another. And following the Section 28 No person or collection of persons being of one of those departments shall exercise any power properly belonging to either of the others, except in the instances hereinafter expressed as directed or permitted. But that's defined in section 160 of the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, which gives the city council power to legislate. But I like to repeat, the Constitution does not give this court the power to legislate, because this court is an executive branch of government. Now, I'll admit that in the KRS 61165, there's a subsection, number 3, 61167. Now, what my argument is that this is unconstitutional, because what the General Assembly did, they didn't want to touch the no smoking issue. They want to keep their hands clean up. So what they tried to do was dump it into the lap of county government. But the General Assembly has no legal authority to dump this issue, legislative power into the lap of a branch of government that is an executive branch of government. You follow what I'm saying? They have, my argument is they have no constitutional authority to dump legislative power into a branch of government that the Constitution says is the executive branch of government. And that article go back to section 26 is guard against transgression of the high powers which we have delegated. We declare that everything in the Bill of Rights is accepted out of the general powers of government and shall forever remain inviolate. All laws contrary thereto or contrary to this Constitution shall be void. And I would just like to repeat what I repeated at the beginning. With the absolute arbitrary power over the lives and liberty and freedom of free men exists nowhere in a republic. There are people that believes in more government and less freedom. That's the third thing I want to bring up. Every time a new law is passed and old freedom is done away with. You ever notice that? If government keeps passing laws taking away people's rights, someday the only right we have remaining is the right to remain silent. We won't have no more rights. I mean, if you take a stick and just keep pulling on it, if you know a person like me, you know what it is, you always used to pull a stick. If you whittle on a stick long enough, there's nothing left of the stick. If you whittle on the Bill of Rights long enough, in the U.S. Constitution or the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, eventually there'll be no rights left. And then we live in a totalitarian police state. And that's what I'm afraid of, and that's what I'm against. And the honorable members of this fiscal court, the first and foremost thing should be on your mind is actions that I'm taking preserving freedom, or is it weakening freedom and putting us further into a dictatorship? And I thank you for my time you've given me. I just imagine my 10 minutes is probably up. I have two more. But anyway, like I said, I sent that to my third time I told you, I've got an uncle who smoked cigars and partied all his life. He's 102 years old. The argument, that smoke, which I don't smoke myself. I'm sitting here trying to defend people's rights, and I don't smoke. I'm not a smoker. But I'm against government of any level, whether it's national government, state government, or local government, interfering in the God-given rights that we've had. They're God-given rights. Our rights are not given by the Constitution. The Constitution is a contract between the governed and those who do the governing. And that contract saying that there are certain things with the government we will not do, we will not infringe upon their rights. And that's the highest priority for the people in government. Don't infringe upon rights. Freedom should be the number one issue in any branch of government. Freedom. Are people less free? In my opinion, if you vote to pass this ordinance, we go to bed at night less free than what we was when we got up this morning. Another thing, it's just a toe in the door. Once this, if you pass this ordinance, a few years down the road, we've got 15 feet from the door, you can't smoke, and they say, well, 150 feet from the door. And like the ones that's for, with no smoking ban, they will never be satisfied until absolute and arbitrary power over the lives and liberty of people is exercised by government. We don't need more government, we need less government. And that's my argument.
Any questions for Mike?
Anyway, thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you, Mike. Okay, Sharon, do you have something you want to say?
Yes, I do.
You're welcome to, and then I'm going to give it back to the other side. And then we'll cut it off on here. I'm going to give you all the right to respond to what Sharon's saying. Sharon, do you mind looking like that?
Yes, I just have a few things to say. Yes, the constitutional right, I believe in us having our right to be able to do and say we are a free nation. That's 6 of one, half a dozen of another. I wish to God somebody would put this ordinance and put the tobacco company down. 47 years ago, maybe my son would be alive today. He died a horrible, horrible death. And you can't tell me that a lot of it wasn't based upon the cigarettes that he smoked. And other factors, I'm sure, into that. But the majority of it was the cigarette. He was a heavy smoker. And I loved him dearly. And how many more people do we have to lose? And secondhand smoke needs to be eliminated in these businesses and these companies. Now, if you want to smoke at your back door, you want to smoke on your farm, in your car, with no one else in there, that's your choice. And that is freedom that we do have. But right now, I want to be able to walk into a restaurant or walk into a business or go get a gallon of milk, and there's my clerk blowing smoke in my face. I smoked years ago. By the grace of God, I quit years and years ago. But back then, it was like an accepted thing, a social thing. It was okay. It wasn't that heavy. Yeah, I know people that have lived 100 years and more smoking, but the majority of them don't. Look at the statistics. I've been there. I've read, I've seen, I've talked to doctors and oncologists everywhere. And let me tell you, it's a very dangerous thing to our community. And we need to eliminate as much as possible. Not take your rights away. Smoke wherever you want to on your property or in your car or whatever. If people want you to smoke in their houses, that's fine. But when I walk into a public facility with my family, I want to smoke free. And that's what I'm asking for me and my family here who do support me. Like I said, I wish it had been done 47 years ago. My beautiful son would be here today, I know it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. Yeah, both of y'all can speak. Let's do 5 minutes each. Clyde, you want to do 5 minutes and then
Well, I'm sorry, as you say, you know, I appreciate what you're saying, I'm sorry. But I would also like to bring up the point that government is still not the issue to the smoking problem. If you outlaw smoking, if you say smoking is outlawed everywhere, in your home, everywhere, we will not stop smoking cigarettes, no more than we would stop smoking pot or using any illegal drug or narcotics. Marijuana is outlawed, people do it, narcotics is outlawed. My point is, government control is still not the answer to social problems. It's a problem, I get that, you know, I get that, but I say government control, I say that it was outlawed completely, the people that wanted to smoke cigarettes would still smoke cigarettes the same way the people that wanted to smoke pot, smokes pot, or take any kind of pills or drugs, they do it anyway. But I'm sorry, about your son, I feel very about that, I don't want to say about over there, I don't want to say to you, still, everybody wants to say something.
You want to defer your time, the rest of your time to Harry? Harry, you might have about 7 minutes. Harry, I think you got like 7 minutes or 6 or 7.
That's only gonna take me just a couple minutes. About 6 weeks ago, I seen on TV in the Ohio Valley. This is your smoker, that's us smokers, now you non-smokers. In the Ohio Valley, more people die of lung cancer due to the pollution in Ohio Valley than the smokers do. Now, what y'all gotta say about that? Okay, lady, you don't want to smoke, I don't want you to drive your car. See, I mean, in all fairness, I smoke in my house, it's my house. I don't smoke inside because my wife didn't like it when she was alive. I go out on my front porch, which is heated and air conditioned. But that's my cover. But I don't force my smoking on you. But you're forcing your driving your car on me with your polluting my air.
Did you hear what I said, sir, when I said you were allowed, and should be allowed to smoke on your property, in your car, in your house, wherever? When I walk into a restaurant, I don't want to smoke blowing in my great red spaces. I don't want to walk into a business buy a gallon of milk and front and smoke in my face. That's all we're asking for, is to keep it out of the businesses.
All I'm asking you to do, lady, quit driving your car and polluting my air.
Then we might as well not fly airplanes or
Amen,
start
brother,
a
that's how we're feeling.
anything else.
Amen, sister, I agree with you.
Or not eating foods processed because it's also got shelf life chemicals in it. They're going to cause cancer. So we might as well stop living, right?
They said it's different in Ohio Valley, where people drive on campus.
Wonder what the combination of smoking and everything else.
It's still that pollution that come out of your car.
Comes out of your mouth, is it?
You're right, lady.
I think the government should check the chemicals that the farmers put on. I know used to you put nothing on, you've done all the work by hand, cleaning out the plant bed, the suckering, and all that stuff was done by hand. We raised the crop 1 year now. But anyway, I believe that if the government would look into these chemicals that are being put on these plants, I think that you would find a whole lot of the stuff that this lady said was in tobacco coming from that.
The government had chance years ago. Now the government controls what goes into the fertilizer, the chemicals, and everything that goes on these crops. The government's higher than your government.
But I just, years ago, you didn't hear of a problem with smoking and all that. So the other day, cancer, and she asked the doctor, should she stop smoking? She said, they registered for doing smoking.
I'm 73 years old. I think that's right.
Well, okay, time is out, discussion's over, what do we want to do?
I make a motion to table it until we hear something from the, court. Supreme Court, appeals court.
May I ask just one question? I've been kind of listening.
Well, if I open it up again and Brittany's going to want to speak, I have to cut it off somewhere.
Okay.
So I appreciate you and you're welcome to come back again next time because I'm going to set the motion and table this. It's a very important issue. We need to make the right decision. I know you all believe what your decision is. These folks believe what their decision is. We are the elected officials. In my opinion, you're our bosses.
It will be probably a year plus before you get it.
Let me finish my speech too. In my opinion, you all are my bosses. You pay me, you elected me. You can take me out of office in the next election and I'm not paying more. But I want, like the magistrate said, I want to study this, hear from the people, hear from the voters, you're the taxpayers. And then I say we can bring it up, when do you want to bring it up?
I would just
At the next meeting? Oh, this ordinance here.
I wanted to wait and comply to this ordinance, or comply to this ordinance, once that decision comes down, but Martha said it could be a year.
Yeah.
It will definitely, I don't have a crystal ball, and can't tell you the Supreme Court's gonna do this. We haven't even had oral arguments, and I know the city of Mount Washington has something pending, they had oral arguments in February. It's December, and they still don't have an answer, we haven't even got that far yet.
Plus, table. So let's get this through and see what happens here. We have a motion and a second to table this ordinance. Any questions or discussion? It'll either go up or down. And Ms. Go ahead, Sharon.
As the county attorney spoke earlier about, that's still going to present a problem, and I don't care which way y'all go. Here.
Now, this is the tabling of this ordinance.
Right.
So you're speaking
There's gonna be a
concerning this
problem.
tabling?
There's going to be a problem while it's tabled, and that's, as she said earlier, with so many smoking on there already on the inside of the building, then we have to provide a smoking area inside the building for other people, or it's going to be possibly more litigation.
Do you really,
It's up to the court.
do you really think that where the smoking is being done is gonna stop? I don't.
I think it could be, I think that it would give us the ability to enforce it. And again, I'm not for it or against it.
Well, I understand, but that's what I'm thinking.
I'm just
What if they
thinking of
still
the
smoke there, what would
us
you
that
do?
do the law enforcement.
I don't think that it's gonna do any good. I mean,
But again, I can't afford something that's not there, so basically, if I smoke some shrimp, I can have to fire up, there's nothing else can do or say. We have to provide a smoking area, and so it all go one way or the other.
just the next one.
I think it's important.
They want to think about it.
But it may not go over, it may go down.
Hear from our constituents and all that information. It's a double-edged sword, either way you go with this, actually, doing this.
You want to, Magistrate, are we ready for the roll call? Or do you want to discuss this more? We're good? Okay, any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Rankin, the call vote.
Ms. Ashball?
Yes.
Mr. Matt?
Yes.
Mr. Westbrook?
Yes.
Mr. Bradshaw? Judge Roberts?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, and I suggest we bring us the next fiscal court meeting. Thank you, Magistrate. And thank you all for being here, because this is what government is about. You are here to support the cause, you know that. We do have other business to take care of. If you wish to leave, please do so quietly. Thank you. Mr. Howell, Mr. Mike Howell, oh, I'm sorry,
I'm gonna get it.
Sorry. Okay. I'm still conducting business, please. Under old business, votes on the detention center. Good afternoon. Good morning,
We have for $7,181 and 12 That's for 11/1/13 to 11/30/13. Also on the roof, did y'all have a chance to decide? On the ones that we decided, on Mr. Cage, we looked at the 5-star roofing. Was the one that we felt that was a better quote, and you can explain to me better why.
Well, I understand these quotes were received as you, if you have a copy of this one, was January of 2013. The other two that I acquired was in March of 2013. These are right in a year old. And whether they'll still honor these or not, I don't know. There may be some increase there. There's considerable difference between the low bid and high bid. Right now, I would suggest we do a coating rather than a complete replacement. Roof's 12 years old. There's significant wear simply from the weathering on the roof. The roof never had any rock, gravel covered on it at all. It's history put on, and I'm not familiar with that style of roof. The black fiberglass impregnated covering that we use is now almost a snow white color from being bleached in the sun. And every time it rains, we get a new leak, depending on which direction the rain comes in the building. So I would suggest a recoating rather than a replacement. That'll give us at least 5 or 6 more years before we have to go that route. It may be longer, depending on the conditions under surface of the roof.
Has this thing been leaking since January?
It's been leaking for years.
We're just now,
No, we're not just now. We had it in the budget, it was removed.
Right, we had it in the budget, and I attached that to the budget and what I was needing. That's why I had, significant amount of money put in for that and it was removed. And if you remember, back when I was getting these quotes, I came up again and said, you know, the roof is getting worse and we are gonna be needing a new roof.
And I do recall it being in the budget, but it was pulled from the budget.
Right, and also, the reason it is very hard to get people out there to look, and he has called numerous of people.
I've had one company repair one leak 5 different times and it still leaks and they won't come back and work on it.
Let me be clear, it was put in my budget and I submitted to fiscal court this week.
And I sent over the info, you know, that's as far as I can go.
And it was deleted from the budget.
Yes, ma'am, it was.
I don't remember seeing any quotes on the budget. So I'm not sure what you're talking about.
We have quotes, we can get more quotes or you can use the quotes we got anyway. We still need some repair on the roof.
Right.
There's been a lot of confusion over the last several months on items that we submit to the fiscal court for repair or replacement. And I'd like to ask all of you that if you have a problem with anything we submit, go to our website, look at my name under the staff, get my phone number and call me. Ask me, I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. Nobody's done that. Nobody comes to our jail and visits with us. Nobody comes over and sees what we do. And I challenge each and every one of you, if you got a problem, come over there and see it. You'll be surprised.
since you're here, I'd like to ask you, why is it that you use that override key?
They gave me an override key simply because I can either use diesel or gas. I do the upkeep of the vehicles. I got 4 vehicles that I keep fuel in every time I go out and look. I may put diesel in one, I may put gas in one. That's all the override does is give me the right to use either.
I know that, but why could you not just use a regular key where it would list what vehicle it was?
They do have.
No, it doesn't.
They do have one. I have one that does not. I have one that
That's
does
right, that's
anything
what I'm
I want to
saying.
use.
Why did you not just get a regular key?
It is regular.
No, it's an override. It doesn't tell you what vehicle you're putting.
No, I write on there every vehicle that I put in. I have a receipt for
But
every
it's
vehicle.
not on what I'm talking about. We always get a printout. It's not on there. It just says
My
that
key-
override key was used.
Let me finish. My key is the same key as everybody else's, only my code is an override code. It lets me use gas or diesel. That's all it does. I can use it in any vehicle we got, and that's what I use. That way I don't have to go to the control room and get a key to that vehicle. I've got a key to it on my key ring.
That's what I'm saying though. If
You
you
don't
want to do
understand.
that, then why did you not just get a regular?
This little black
So
key,
where we could know what you were putting.
that's the
gas in.
override key. This is the key to the vehicle. I
I'm
don't
not
have to.
arguing about this, sir. I'm asking is, the purpose of doing this fuel like that, with the computers and everything, is so we can keep up with who's getting fuel here, what they're putting it in, and all that stuff.
We have that.
Yes, we do, but that thing there does not tell us what vehicle you're putting that in. I'm telling you, it does
He
not.
doesn't.
Yes, sir.
Ricky, I think what you need to ask is Nuclear Oil or the oil company, because what he's saying makes sense, but what you're saying makes sense too. They don't have one key that he can stick in and it'll list that vehicle.
No, I know that.
don't make
However,
one.
I talked to the company that's got the equipment over there, and they said they were very adamant when they had the meeting and giving out the keys, that they get an override key. And the gentleman told me that I talked to, and I've got notes at home, I just don't know what his name, can't remember his name. He said, he told them, you do not, the purpose of this is so they know what vehicles fuel is being put in, whether it's diesel or whether it's gas. And that will tell them what vehicles this is going into. And they said, well, we need an override key. So we've got an override key. But the reason we wanted it is not fair if you've got an override key.
That would be a question for them, but I don't think they'd be able to take his key and set it so he punches in the code and prints out what vehicle goes in. It's not just a
I'm sure they
They
could,
could set that.
but it doesn't come off with an override key.
Right.
You have to have a regular key of some sort. And I have a problem with that, because that's the very reason that we went into all the expense of putting in this computer mechanism, so we'll know where the fuel is going.
I don't have control over that, that's Nuclear Oil has that. They gave me the key so I can fill the vehicles.
And
That's what I did.
you should have just had a regular key like everyone else. In my opinion, I don't know about the rest of the magistrates, but that's my thought. Because it kind of just,
Do you have another key at the station there?
There's a key for every vehicle. Every vehicle has a key. I have my own key because I don't go get the vehicle key. I maintain the vehicles, filling them up with gas. I got 4 to do. On Monday mornings, I may have 3 vehicles, maybe all 4 of them I got to go put gas in.
well, I think if they all have keys, fuel keys, you need to go get them and not use the key card.
That's up to my brother.
I mean, the thing is, when we put this in, before this, when we would go long in on anything, there was mileage. That we had to write down our mileage on there. There is no more mileage,
That's correct.
okay?
Right.
So to me, in my view, is you can track mileage very easily, better than you can track what we have now. And even if you budget on mileage, you can take an average on that sheet.
We're not trying, I'm not talking about.
I'm saying this, okay? So the mileage was a much more accurate calculation than what we have now.
But like I said, I wasn't concerned.
Okay, can we go back to the roofing thing? I mean,
But I just wanted to find out if he's here, because he's not using an interview, and he is here now. I just wanted to know why there's a key card being used, if there's cards, regular cards stating what vehicle he's putting fuel in.
Because I don't take time, it takes me an hour to put fuel in every vehicle, like, go get a vehicle, go fill it
You're
up,
on
come back.
maintenance, you shouldn't be that used, because the way I see it.
Okay, you're right.
too much.
Shouldn't be.
I said he shouldn't be that busy if he's a maintenance.
On the roof.
What do you mean they can't be that busy?
Magistrate, if you want, ask for something to be given to you or something.
Well, I get it written on, it's
But
like
what's-
all of us do. But it does not say what vehicle it says it's used for key cards.
Do you want to have a meeting with them or?
Well, I talked to the guy at the fuel company, and he changed it. I don't remember that, but whatever.
Well, no, let's have some type of conclusion, some type of action. So what can this fiscal court do?
Every vehicle
What's the
should
message?
have a coded key.
And they do. I'm the only one that has one.
Okay. But in my opinion, nobody should be using an override key unless somebody loses the personal key. to that particular car. An override is like, stays in the drawer unless some kind of emergency, where the guy with the key's not there, or he lost his key, and you use the override for fuel. The whole purpose of spending the 40 grand or whatever it was for this tracking system is to follow every car and how much fuel that car gets. Because there were rumors on the street that somebody might be coming in there and their wife might be driving up there and they're filling up her car and we're giving gas to half the county and not tracking.
I have receipts written, I don't know.
I'm not questioning your integrity, sir. That is why the system was put in. And in order to quell those rumors, in order to satisfy the system, you put a tracking key with every vehicle. That vehicle pulls up, puts that key in there, pumps 12 gallons of gas or whatever, pull the key back out, it goes on record, it gets printed out that you got 12 gallons of gas. Now, if I have an overnight key, I can plug in there. Hey, I get on the phone call, all my buddies, we're giving away free gas today. I can run 100 cars through there, fill them all up. And we go under the override key, and they would have to question me about it. And then I have to come up with some proper story of how I used $100, $1,000 worth of gas, whatever. So this is an attempt to prove, we've got proof that so-and-so only used 20 gallons of gas this week.
I can do the same thing with a key that's registered to the vehicle. I don't have to have that vehicle. I can go get any key in there for any vehicle and put gas in.
I think the override key should be given to the county.
The thing is, we're tracking the gas to the vehicle, is what the system is supposed to do. And, you know, when it shows up under an override and there's 3 or 4 vehicles,
I have to call the question, that's what happened to the roof.
it's like, well, it has to be somebody filling up multiple vehicles, and that's okay, because you got that many. But it also leaves the question mark, if somebody wants to be suspicious or whatever, that, I don't know what vehicle that went into, and so could somebody be pilfering from the county? And that's what we're trying to avoid, and we want to stop the rumors and, you know, keep it clean. That's all we're asking. And I know the keys cost so much. I don't know how much, if they're $5 a piece, $20 a piece, $50 a piece. I don't know what those individual keys cost. And I know with the system, you only got 20 keys or 25 keys, whatever it was, which they needed. So to assign a new key to each one of those 4 vehicles or whatever it is that you fill up might cost the county another $100, $200, whatever, to get another key. And then we put the override key in the door and nobody uses it unless it's some kind of emergency. That might be the solution.
Well, I think we need to make a motion, I think we need to come up with a solution, make a motion and pass it. Or not pass it, but something needs to be done. And I've got 2 folks that want to speak, so I'm gonna give them 2 minutes, go ahead. Oh, Sandy was first.
Well, I'm going to ask Ruthie and Mr. Bradshaw, what proof or any type of proof that you have that this man has not done what he was supposed to do, putting gas in the car.
It only gives you the person, I know all the numbers for the people that put gas in. Do you all not understand, we're trying to save the county money, is that a problem? And this
How is it
is,
saving the county money accusing someone of misappropriation?
I'm not telling
The
you it's
rumor on the
misappropriation.
street, did you say, Mr. Bradshaw, the rumor on the street is what?
Before we put in this tracking system, there was discussion among the public that people were, it's like anybody can go by the fill station down there at the road department and get gas. Now, obviously not anybody, but friends could get gas. And so we were fueling different vehicles around the county that we were not supposed to be fueling.
We actually were doing that. You had proof of that.
I don't have proof of anything. I just know what people say. I get tired of hearing it. So in order to quell that,
So therefore, you accuse an innocent person.
I did not. I just told you, I did not question his integrity. It's just, unfortunately, he's the guy with the override.
It seems like it's integrity to me. I mean, unless
Well, you
I'm
misunderstood.
Oh.
What you don't understand is, we are trying to save the county money if there is any misappropriations. The kicker is, we have that put in so we can know what vehicles are getting fuel. Well, with the key card, it does not tell you what the vehicle is. It just tells you his number, and that's
For
it.
the past several months, you all have absolutely not offered any proof of misappropriation in the jailer's office.
I didn't say we did know that he was misappropriating. We
In the
wouldn't
jailer's
know
office
that.
at all, or anything. I mean,
Thank you all. And Ms. June.
I have a question. What happened to the repairing of the roof?
Thank you.
Okay, Mary Donna, you want to finish?
They came in and
You want the roof then?
yeah.
Okay, let's go back to the roof and, tell us what you recommend.
We're recommending the 5-star and just to repair, instead of putting a whole replace another roof.
How much is the 5-star here?
It needs $20,668. It's on your,
The $20,668.
That's if they'll honor this quote.
Right. Deputy Judge, can you recall how much we put in my budget for the roof?
I think it was like 20-something, 26,000, 25,000, is the one I put down.
Okay, well, since I had it in my original budget, I'll make a motion that the fiscal court approve $20,668 for the repair of the roof at the detention center. I'll give a few more seconds for a second. I don't think I'm going to give a second. Okay. Hearing no second, my motion dies for lack of second.
Any suggestions on how we fix the roof?
I would love for the fiscal court to get a bid.
That's wonderful. We've got 3 here, you can have any of the 3, or you can call anybody you want, compare them.
I want to be
You don't want any of them?
Okay. Okay. Would this fiscal court like to address this at the next fiscal court meeting?
I would just like to get a bid or two and do it from the fiscal court and let's get the problem over with. I know the lady needs the roof repaired and there's no doubt about it, but I know she's probably got 3 and 5 gallon buckets sitting all over the place, am I correct?
There is buckets sitting there, yes, on occasion.
So hopefully the next fiscal court meeting.
We'll try and have a bid or two to see what we can do. All right?
And this is another thought. Now, while I'm waiting, we've been working with inmates. And we are working with inmates, okay? And when we bring those inmates out, that water gets in a pocket in the ceiling, and it may not be any time. And it only takes a few seconds for an inmate to slip. So, just think about that.
Good. Okay.
Does this fiscal court have anything else to say about the roof and the possible slippage or slipping up of inmates? All right, would this fiscal court like to have action on the key situation?
I would like to make a motion that fiscal court take the override key.
Well, hold on, I want the deputy judge, the magistrate, hold on a second. The deputy judge has some information for us. Take it away.
Well, I've spoken to, is it Amy Moore or Nika Moore, or whoever it is?
Is it Nugal?
It's Amy, okay. And, when this first came up several weeks ago, and, they advised that, our road department director, Jim Stivers, had an override key, which is understandable in case there was ever some kind of something that the system failed where the county could obtain gasoline. I told him the situation that we had at the jail, and he said that they could disable that override key if that's what fiscal court asked. I told them that from this point forward, to not issue any more override keys to any department unless fiscal court approved of that. And he agreed that I did ask him if that override key could be disabled, if they could disable it there at their computer system, and it can be.
So, looking for some type of action, that's a possible action this court can take. I'll leave that to you all.
I think the road department's got one because of the heavy equipment and such as that.
Correct. And
However, I never see any override key
Jim
gas
said he's
consumption.
never used it, yeah, he said he's never had to use it yet.
While the court is thinking, Martin Higgins has his hand up. Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am, that's all right, I withdraw my question. You all tabled the motion, so you're not gonna act on it.
Table what?
The
Oh, no.
repairing of the roof.
No, it wasn't tabled.
Oh, well then, I don't wanna be a smart aleck by any means, but I believe the magistrate should realize
Die
that,
for lack of second, Mike.
I'm sorry?
And die
Yes,
for lack of
but
second.
the county buildings are your responsibility.
We're well
Take
aware of
it.
that.
Okay, well, I mean, I remember I was here after Halloween when we had that bad record-breaking storm, and Ms. Knox pointed out how bad a condition the jail was in. And that was the first fiscal court meeting in November. So this hadn't just flown in your face, and then of course we had the brouhaha at the last fiscal court meeting. I would suggest that the magistrates address the problem and at least get a temporary fix before someone is injured. And that would really look foolish on everyone. If you know that you have a bad leak and you don't address it, at least temporarily. I mean, if you have a leak in your home and you can't get the crew there, they come out and temporary it. It needs to at least be temporary for safety matters. That's all I wanted to say, Judge. Thank you.
Thank you, Miles. All right, next, back to the disabling keys, possible action.
Yes.
Put a tarpaulin or something on it. Because soon as the floor will come up, and everything else will be done.
Call him on that.
Yeah.
Now, that's not the road department, because, I mean, he never uses it, but I was there at the time, but it's some of the heavy equipment.
It was my understanding that every key that is not just the override keys, but every key that's issued is under the control of anyone. They can disable or able any key, not just the
They
override.
can, but it'll also tell you what you fuel into.
Yes, I'm just saying,
So
you
you
need to disable one override key without disabling both of them.
Now, do the
we gonna give him another access code?
Well, Magistrate Rachel, I had a question. Did you hear him?
I think there's 3 or 4 vehicles that you fill with the override key. Do those vehicles have an individual key code to operate the pump?
No, not a key code. The key code is my code. That's what you look at every time you see that override key, that's my code.
Right, okay. Now, if that override key is turned off, that means that you have no access to the pump to fill those 4 vehicles, or 3 vehicles, whatever it is. So, did those vehicles never get an individual? In my mind, every vehicle should have had its own code.
No, we selected probably, and I'm guessing 8 or 9 people on the first shift, day shift, so that if they drove the vehicle, they could fill it up, they picked their own code, but they used the individual key from that vehicle to fill it with their code. The reason I chose and asked for an override code is because I do transports almost daily. I was in Cincinnati yesterday.
And you don't want to carry 4 different keys, I guess.
That's exactly right. And I drove straight back with 3 prisoners, dropped them off, and went straight over until the vehicle up and parked it. Now, today I was supposed to go on a transport, but I chose to come here with Jailer Knox today. So I don't need my key right now, but when I get back over there, if I go out there and look, I'll guarantee you there's 1 or 2 vehicles that needs fuel in it. And it'll be up to me to go put it in there, because somebody else got it and won't do it. So,
But each vehicle does have a.
every vehicle has a key, just like I showed you.
Right.
But there's probably 10 people that have their own code that they use to put fuel in those vehicles. The reason I chose and asked for an override key is we've got 3 diesel vehicles that are on the opposite end of the building, which I don't usually have to mess with, but on occasion I do. There's 2 ambulances and a 1-ton truck. And occasionally I have to use the truck or whatever and I'll need diesel. So that's why I asked for the override key. It doesn't do me anything at all except letting me go from diesel to gas, either way. Each individual vehicle is assigned a number 1 or number 2. Number 1 means diesel, number 2 means gas. And that you can only buy that with the vehicle key. And I have keys to these vehicles because I have a key cabinet that has extra keys in it. I maintain the key security in our facility.
Now, when you're saying key, are you talking about ignition keys, or are you talking about these tracking keys?
Ignition keys.
Okay, well, see, we're talking about 2 different things. That's
Well, the
what I thought.
tracking keys are on the ignition key.
Okay, but my question was, the vehicles that you're filling, the 3 or 4 that you specialize in filling up, or use, whatever, do those vehicles have a tracking key?
Yes, they do.
An individual tracking keys, so that if you use the right key for that car, we know that that gas went in there.
8 or 9 people can use that key right there. Other than this one, you can't, because this is my key, the one I have. This is the override key. But they all have identical looking key that 8 or 9 people can use. It only lets you buy diesel or gas, whichever one that key is assigned to.
Okay, but that one has a number that ties it to you.
That's correct.
The other ones have numbers that ties it to the other individuals, correct?
8 or 9 people, including me. I can use those keys.
When you say 8 or 9 people, it makes me sound like it doesn't make any difference which key they grab. It's not, it's.
That's true. You could go over there, I guarantee you can go over there with a Chevette key if they had one of these and use it in a Ford Explorer. That machine doesn't know what you're putting that fuel in.
It knows the vehicle.
No, it doesn't. The key does, but it doesn't. When you stick that gas hose in there, it doesn't know what you're doing.
It may not, but that key tells you what vehicle that's going into.
That's right. But you may not be driving that vehicle. I could have 5 keys in my pocket and go over there and pick one of the 5 and stick it in there and put gas in it. It doesn't
It's
matter.
going to tell you what vehicle it is.
It might not be that vehicle. That's my point.
That's the purpose of having this
I understand that. I'm not condemning the program. I use it every day. It's great.
If I look at the printout and I see code number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's assigned to anytime I see that number as buying gas, either he bought it, or he allowed somebody to use his key to buy it, and that code is tracked to him, he used 20 gallons of gas or whatever. That's the whole purpose, is to know that Mr. Evans used that, Mr. Case used this, Taylor Knox uses whatever. Every code refers to a person. It doesn't really make any difference what vehicle they put it in necessarily.
It does, it don't care what we do.
It's just that
It means me, when I bought diesel or gas, or she bought diesel or gas.
it just shows that you used $20 worth of gas this week, or whatever. Now, but I thought the system would be tracking each vehicle, like the code number would, Mr. Edgerton drives a certain vehicle 99% of the time. So if you see that key code come up, it's going in that car.
Chances are, yes.
Same way for all the other individuals that have vehicles assigned to them. Now, the problem with the override key is it's going into 4 different vehicles. And
Well,
different.
it could be more, it could be diesel vehicles, or even those.
So
It still tells you I bought it. I got it. It just doesn't tell you what vehicle I was using. And nor does the other keys, because I could have all 5 of them and put diesel in one, gas in another one. It doesn't look at that individual vehicle, but it looks at the key for the individual. It doesn't care what you put in.
where we are is in the discussion of a motion to disable that key, which means you'll have to go get somebody else's key.
Well, if my code is still working, it may not. If you turn this key off, I don't know if it turns my code off or not.
I think that's what would happen. I don't know that, but I'm thinking that's what's gonna happen. And by disabling that key, you're gonna go to the pump and can't get gas.
Right.
So my point is, we're ready to get the cart before the horse, and you've gotta figure that part out before you disable that key.
We've got, I have a printout right here that I just received. Is it good number 30050?
3351.
Okay. 30050.
It's not me, it's not me.
Huh?
That's not me.
Okay, whoever that was, put gas in Martha's black cars. Same person put it in the gray cars, which is Mr. Evans. Here's an ambulance, 35230, I guess that was whoever. But anyway, down here, the override key at that point was used by 30050. But it does not say what vehicle or anything.
That might,
It might be one of the commercial, but they,
he may have used my key one time, he may have had that. He used his code, and I don't think it looks his
when
code.
those vehicles go get ready to go on the road, they have to fill them all up. And he's usually there early. Usually if it's mine, my key is used because they had to drive my car over there, there's just one key. So it's easy to do that. If Robert, it's just one key. He drives it over there, puts it in there. When you get to these multiple vehicles, they go on the road, it's a little bit, split in a whole handful of keys to go out and fill those vehicles up. Okay, that's the difference in what he does and what is filling up mine. Mine is filled up with my key, with my little XX key, whether it's Ronnie filling it up, whether it's Mr. Tate filling it up, whether it's whoever filling it up. It's Robert, that's done with my key, because I drive my vehicle over there to do that. Robert's is the same thing. But then when you get to these multiple vehicles that are going out on the road, or he's going to do a transport, or the staff is going somewhere behind him, he's filling that vehicle up, he may have 3 or 4 vehicles in the morning to fill up. He may go up and pick up a load, pull into the side porch, drop them off. It's 4 to 3, and we know we got to run in the morning, and he gets over and fills another one up. You know, so, you know, a lot of times he's beating the clock trying to get there. Because we don't have any other means of gas. We don't have a credit card. I have to send these people out to Cincinnati, and sometimes they gotta fill up.
But that's another issue that, when we go to Henderson County as an example, if I drive to Explorer, I've got to fill up when I get down there. And it takes my money to do that, not your money.
How come you have so many transports? I mean, what?
SAT program.
That program, that inmate,
When we agreed to take on the SAT program, that was supposed to be done away with any kind of transportation. Back when you all brought that up, about when the judges were on here. Yes, it was.
no, it wasn't.
Okay.
No,
You cannot run a SAT program without transport. You gotta go get the people somewhere, wherever they are in
There
another
was a
jail.
purpose in putting the SAT program in the jail, so the people that are from other counties do not have to be transported, they can take their class right
you
there.
are talking about two different things. Yes, you are. There's no way of getting SAP people there if you don't go pick them up. The state appoints people, and they're all over the state of Kentucky. We pick those people up and bring those people back here. What you are talking about was us holding people there past the 14 days and them being transported back to their county, and they were kicked out of that. That's two different things.
Well, that's not what was brought up that day with the judges.
Well, that, I don't
When
know what
we
you're talking
passed
about.
when we decided that it was okay to put it through, it was to save money, so there was no transport. That's
No, that,
I'll find the minutes on that and bring it in.
We have a motion for, go
I
ahead.
just wanted to ask a question, Taylor, and I'm not familiar with this, with the key system. Would it be possible to have a gas card, it's a key, right, for the gas key, attached to the car key?
We do that.
we do that.
I have keys, extra keys that are not. I have an extra key for every
But
vehicle.
when you're taking the car to fill it up, is the gas key not on the car key?
If I use my key, no, it's not. I've got keys all over in my pockets. You won't believe how many keys I have to carry.
So he would have to go back and get the car key. He has keys to the car, the vehicle. Okay, when he puts it in there, he drives the vehicle over there. He has that one access key to stick in there. Or, what he is saying, he would have to go back to the control room, gather up all 4 keys, or 5 keys, or whatever it was, and drive the vehicles over there and go in each time and drop the key off, bring it back. It's just a bunch of running back and forth.
And it wouldn't be possible to have a gas key, like in the glove box, keep it in the glove compartment?
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't do that because it's sitting outside. I wouldn't use it.
Okay, Carolyn, can you ask me, please?
I just gotta, I understand carrying a lot of keys, and because of what I've done for so many years with being self-employed and over here at this annex. And I'll just bring this idea to you. This is my personal key ring that I carry every day between work and home. I can also separate what I need for personal as quick as a snap. Is it possible that there could be some means of coming to what you all are looking for, and what you all need to do business, by Bill having the ability to carry multiple vehicles out with you, depending on what's looking at you for the day. And when you're making the run that day, you carry that vehicle with your rig. You're going to do multiple fills, and maybe there's some means of just a quick disconnect is the way to fix it. You got it. And that's just my thoughts sitting here listening.
I maintain the entire jail's key system. Every key in the jail I've got, virtually. I don't say everything, but just about it. Vehicles included. Believe you me, if there was a way to do it some other way, I would. I didn't come up with this system. The system before, you went over, you filled the vehicle, you signed your name, how many miles on the vehicle, and what vehicle it was, and you went on. Now you gotta use this. It's a whole lot simpler. I just stick it in there, punch my code in, fill my vehicle up, it gives me a receipt. I write on the receipt what vehicle it is, I drive off. That's simple. I can do that with all 4 of those vehicles in less than an hour and be done with it. I can go to Cincinnati, come back, fill the vehicle up, have it ready to go the next morning. that's the reason for my key. And I'm the only one that does that. And I'm the only one that has the override key. If the court wants me to give it up, you name it, I'll give it to you. But I use it for a purpose. The purpose I use it for is what it's done for.
And we do have a motion on the floor.
Let's just take that motion off in a second.
You don't want to?
No.
Okay. Who made the motion?
I did.
So you do want to withdraw your motion? Magic Cashball is withdrawing her motion. Have you heard anything else we have to do to make sure we've taken that motion off correctly? Okay. All right. Yes, Bill?
Judge, I'm not the smartest person in the world, but this whole thing is confusing, and I've tried to follow it, and I'm sure the magistrates are having a problem, and I'm sure Jailer and Bill are having a problem, and I'm wondering if Newton Oil has a problem. Would it be possible for all the parties to get together and sort of say, here's what we don't understand, here's what we understand?